Activate source. Activate source. Okay, there we go. Could be good, but we really
In this video,
this
What does an action-adventure game like Marvel Spider-Man, an open-world driving sandbox like Grand Theft Auto, and an open-world RPG like Assassin's Creed all have in common? Cold-blooded murder? Well, yeah, actually I suppose they do. Say what you want, Spidey, but there's no way that guy would survive that fall. What I'm actually talking about, though, is artificial intelligence, or more specifically, traffic-based AI. Now, it's worth mentioning that many of these games have incredibly complex systems for handling AI that would be way too difficult and complicated to cover in a single YouTube video. However, you might be surprised just how easy it is to make some believable traffic AI with just a few lines of code and some elbow grease. Not literally, just, there's going to be a lot of clicking involved. If the environment affords it and would commonly accommodate other people, such as a town, city, or maybe even a Paris fashion show, adding a level of perceived autonomy and guided movement to your NPCs can act as a really nice backdrop and really help bring your project to life. So let's just think of today's episode as an exercise in virtual set dressing. Hi there, I'm Matt, and welcome to Game Dev Guide. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use a simple waypoint system to build a basic AI behavior for pedestrians and traffic. We're going to look at how to... Allow me to introduce you to Eric. Eric likes going for walks, so we want to give Eric some places to walk. I've set him up with a super simple character controller. As you can see in the script here, we can set a destination for Eric to walk to, and he'll animate his little pale self over to wherever we tell him to go. When he gets within a set distance of his destination, we'll flag the destination as reached. We're going to start by building a super basic connect the dots style waypoint system that Eric can walk between. But this is me, so rather than just making a bunch of game objects manually, we're obviously going to build a tool that lets us place, edit, and visualize waypoints. Let's create two new scripts, one called waypoint, and the other we'll call waypoint manager window and place it inside of an editor folder. In our waypoint
All right, so we're gonna actually follow along with this. Wait. What was the? Oh, right. We want to do. We go into assets. We do directory. Editor. There we go. There we go. And then here we're gonna do a class.
let's create two new scripts, one called waypoint, and the other we'll call waypoint manager window and place it inside of an
Add a Unity script. Waypoint window.
editor folder. In our waypoint script, let's create two references to a waypoint. One will be the previous waypoint, and the other will be the next waypoint.
How is programming hell going? Slow and steady. How are things, martial art?
We'll also create a float
Public waypoint. Previous waypoint. Next waypoint. Actually, you know what? This does work since we don't really have any things outside of this. Yeah. slow but steady, then it is pretty decent. I'm fine though. I worry I might have forgotten about something important. Yeah, and I suppose that does happen. Have you seen the pedestrians yet? For that I have in? This is fucking great. I don't know if you've seen this yet. I do not recall. All right, as soon as this finishes compiling or whatever. Here we go. Check this out. Look at that, right? Look at that. I think it's 2000. Yeah, it's 2000. It gives me the creeps because I'm afraid of insects. Here. It works though. Lively like New York or Tokyo. Exactly. That's what we're going for. Tokyo specifically. So now we're just so this was just a very basic movement system, but all of these are controlled in these are not controlled in the most performant way possible, but like it works, right? It works, and not only does it work, look at the FPS. Look at that FPS. It's beautiful. This is 2,000 people, pedestrians walking around. Look at that. Look at the draw calls. 38 fucking draw calls. All of these freaking people, 38 draw calls. Oh, oh, this is beautiful. You want to see what my walk animation looks like? Okay, so here's the geo, right? This is the geo for the character. As you'll notice, there's no skeletal mesh. This is the character, right? And as you're noticing, there's no skeleton here. There's just a mesh. Yeah, they're all it. Okay, so this entire thing is a single. So effectively, here we've got our geo, right? This is our geo, and then we have one texture, which is this texture here. This material here, which is three 1K textures, um, that give it this look. And as you notice, if I bring this in, it doesn't move. But if I bring in with the texture, you can see it moving. So let's take a look at what these textures look like. So this is the walk animation positions, and this is the rotation map. We can zoom in here. So each pixel here is a vertex on the character, right? So each pixel is a vertex that is a vertex rotation on this one. And then here, each pixel here is a vertex location relative to a bounding box that surrounds the character. Yeah. So each pixel is a rotation, or and that this one's kind of the easiest to see, right? Because like the rotations change a bit more than the positions do. But yeah, so like this is the entire thing. And this uses a regular animation to make that. I used a regular animation to make this, like a regular bone based animation on a character with bones. It runs at 30 FPS. I've got the animations going at 30 FPS for the bake, and then you do a little bit of potentially a little bit of math and whatnot. But yeah, that's it. That's how you do it. You don't have any bones in your scene. So yeah, one instance material with one instanceable batchable mesh and GPU batchable mesh, and then you do vertex animations, right? And voila, you have the entire system. So all of these characters walking around are all technically kind of T posing. Well, actually, I shouldn't say they're technically T posing. They're actually technically walk. They're all in like in this shape here, right? Where they're the first frame of the animation, right? So yeah, no, I'm pretty happy. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to figure out like a proper like actual proper pedestrian system, right? Where they actually like don't just walk to the random waypoints. They actually like have a path that they need to follow and stuff like that. It's the idea is fairly straightforward, right? Once you look at it, the idea is pretty straightforward. That yeah, here we go. Yeah. So like the entire idea is actually fairly straightforward. But it's a it can be a bit difficult to fully understand at first. And it takes a little bit of like actually building it is a bit is more challenging than understanding the idea behind it, right? So effectively, if we look at this, right, you see the outline, right? The outline is actually what the computer sees, right? Like the CPU sees the outline, and then the GPU renders out the animation using the vertex shader, right? And here's how it works, right? So think of these dots here as a no, not necessarily the hitbox. Like this is the actual shape of the character, right? This is where the static mesh is, right? We're only bending it because we can, right? Like we can create this on the GPU, right? So the CPU sees this shape, right? Your hitbox doesn't have to necessarily be this, right? This would be a vertex hitbox, which would be really unperformant, right? Oh, this isn't the one that I thought it was. This is the one that I wanted. Yeah, this one here, right? So this one actually displays it, right? So here you've got a bounding box, right? So you use this bounding box to figure out like where each vertex on this character is, right? So if you've got a really densely vertexed character, it won't work very well, right? Because like it's just too much data. And then when you get really close up, if you've not done a super good job, you'll have like this level of like moving, right? Where things are like jittery. But effectively this is what it looks like, right? So this is the outline is what the CPU sees, and then you see how you can see the movement in the off color, and then this is what it ends up looking like when the GPU actually renders it, right? And essentially what you're doing is you're taking your UV space, right, and you're just scrolling it through this texture here, and this texture here is the actual animation. So it's really cool. It's really cool. I can show you what the character ends up looking like, and it will blow your fucking mind. Check this out. Check this out. Right. Do-do-do-do. So if we bring her in, right, and we do this, there's the character, right? There's no bones, but if we bring this here over, let's split this down the center so we can see the UVs, right? We do we're gonna switch. Did I not bring this in right? I might not have brought this in right. Effectively though, there's two UVs, which apparently it didn't bring in both. Maybe I need to bring her in as a character. FBX character import. Oh, there we go. And there she is. Interesting. It's not bringing in the UVs correctly. Anyway, she has She has 2 UVs and one of them's like super fucky. That's what fucking that's what effectively that's what Gaz said too. He was just like, I this is too advanced for me. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting, like it's super interesting and not very difficult to understand, right? Like the general concept of it isn't difficult to understand. The general concept is not hard to understand, right? So you've got these really fucked up looking UVs, right? Where like effectively like each vert takes up 1 pixel, right? So each vertex on a UV takes up 1 pixel, right? And then you just do this inside, like you do the scroll inside of the you do that scroll right inside of here, and yeah, here, right? So you just scroll your UVs down and it does this, right? And then you're able to batch everything together, right? So instead of having to send so with the bones, right? If she had bones, every time she moves, I have to send I can't batch it, right? So the GPU needs a different mesh, effectively like a different mesh with different textures and everything. So we have to send each one over individually to the GPU. With this, we can take all 2000 of, or 1000 of, we can take 2 batches of 1000 each, send those over to the GPU. They process them on the GPU, and then we send the next batch over and they get processed on the GPU. But we can send them all together all at once, right? So it's really cool. The most important thing is that we got this running on Chris M's system at 60 FPS. It's better than dots. This actually ends up working better than dots. Sup, Chrono? We're actually doing actual like proper programming today.
It's called width, which will cap at a range of 0 and 5 for now. Let's also add a method called getPosition. This will return a random point based on the waypoint width, and basically will give some degree of freedom for our characters to move between when they're moving towards a waypoint.
Info for which? A pedestrian system? Oh yeah, no, I worked that out. I thought I did that on stream. Oh no, I thought I demoed it already. Yeah. I ended up getting the Houdini stuff working, but I'm not able to batch. I'm not able to batch them through tops yet. Oh yeah. I was gonna try and bake more animations yesterday, but that didn't end up working out, unfortunately. Last I seen, you were working on getting texture info out of HUD. Oh yeah. I didn't get that worked out. I don't think it's gonna be possible. Um, yeah, it sucks. Yeah. Well, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to process this through like automate this using the Houdini top system. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. But I have this VAT HUD, sorry, HDA, and with this, I'll be able to do from here. I'd be able to do everything that I need. So I'm just gonna have to do them one at a time. So I'm just gonna have to be a little bit more selective of what I actually bake, just because it takes a little bit of time, right? I can't like just throw them in and just go. I'm sure that if I worked at it a bit and I was a little bit better with tops, I'd be able to figure out a way to do it. But I wasn't really able to get there yesterday, so shit is what it is, right?
In our Waypoint Manager window script, we'll create a quick static method to open the window. We're then going to
This isn't that important. Like this isn't really what I want. We'll come back to that. This is what I really wanted.
build a simple window that allows us to easily manage our waypoint system.
Okay, here we go. This is gonna be a editor window. And then we are gonna do menu item. Ah, nice. Public static void open.
Let's create a public transform called waypoint root.
Okay.
This will be an object we assign that we'll use as the parent for our waypoints. And on GUI, let's create a serialized object for the window so we can easily
Do 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 do.
draw its properties. Then let's create a property field for our waypoint root, and make sure to apply the modified properties.
Interesting. Wait. Editor obj dot. Oh, I guess because this is serialized property, then we don't have direct access to. Interesting. Wouldn't we just be able to do this dot waypoint root? Oh, whatever.
And let's add a message to make sure it's assigned. If it isn't, we'll create a help box message.
Okay, we're slowly learning how to make proper tooling. Root transform must be selected.
If it is, we'll create a method called draw buttons, which will enclose in a vertical layout.
Sure. Property field? No. Layout. Begin vertical. Do there. Editor GUI layout dot end vertical. Draw buttons. Neat. Draw buttons.
And here we'll create a button and a method for adding a waypoint.
This whole like if GUI layout add waypoint, like the whole like putting this in an if statement is really weird.
And
here, waypoint.
And here we'll create a new game
And then we're gonna do another here void create waypoint.
object and generate a name for it based on the child count of our waypoint route. We'll also
Game object. Waypoint. It's this, right? Yeah. Waypoint root dot child count. Type of waypoint.
assign the waypoint component. Then let's set this new waypoint as a child of our waypoint route, and we
What is false in this here? World position stays. Huh? If true, the parent modified such the object keeps the same world position scale as before. Interesting. Okay.
want to make our waypoint system automatically link waypoints when we create a new one, so let's get a reference to the waypoint component, and if the route transform has more than one child, we'll assign the previous waypoint, like so.
Wait. Okay, then we do. Oh wait, no, this needs to be object. There. Then we do waypoint. Waypoint, and then we do if waypoint root is less than 1. Oh, wait, no. Waypoint root dot child count is less than 1. Waypoint dot previous waypoint equals waypoint root get child waypoint root dot child count -2. Interesting. I'm gonna have to come back and figure this out.
Just for some nice quality of life features, we'll also set our new waypoint facing the same
For anybody who's just showing up, this is what we're doing. We're following this.
direction as the previous one. And finally, we'll select the new
Waypoint dot previous waypoint equals dot next waypoint equals waypoint. Place the waypoint at the last position. Waypoint dot transform dot position. equals waypoint dot previous waypoint dot transform dot position. This is just a really basic way, like a really basic system right now, but we're going to actually be changing this. Oh, this is forward. Yeah.
New waypoint as we probably want to edit it. Now if we go back into Unity,
Wait.
previous one. And finally, we'll select the new waypoint as we probably want to edit it.
Selection dot active game object equals waypoint object waypoint game object.
Now if we go back into Unity and open our window,
This should give us a whole like waypoint system here. Tools.
let's create a new game object here, which we'll call waypoint. Now if we go back into Unity and open our window,
Wait, tools. Wait, I still have that installed. Beautiful. Okay. So, excuse me. Tools. Isn't not building it? I thought that it would be there, right? Am I crazy? This is in the editor, right? Yeah, editor. So it should show up, right? Oh, waypoint manager right here. There it is. Yay!
let's create a new game object here, which we'll call waypoints. Then let's assign this into our window.
Give me a second, I'll be right back.
And now each time I click this button, we get a new child added to our waypoint group, and each child
Okay, so now we need to create a empty game object. Waypoints.
let's assign this into our window.
Oh, and it's just this? Wait.
Now each time I click this button, we get a new child added to our waypoint group. Probably want to edit it. Now if we go back into Unity and open our window, let's create a new game object here, which we'll call waypoints. Then let's assign this into our window.
Wait, but it didn't want to work. I got something wrong here. So where's our issue here? What if we do this? Wait. Open get window. Okay, waypoint manager. So if I do this, what happens here? Okay. There, and then I move that into there and nothing happens. Hmm.
The modified properties. And
Wait. There we go. Okay. This might work. Okay, so if I bring this over, does it work now? There we go. Okay, where is this? Okay, there it is. Yeah. Then if I go, okay, so that's kind of cool, right? And then let's go back to
this is a
here.
good start. We've got a tool that will easily allow us to spawn new waypoints. The next thing we need is some easy way of seeing how each of our waypoints are connected. Something ideally that will help us tell which waypoint is attached to which, and the relationship between them. It would also be good if we could easily transfer points. Then let's assign this into our window. And now each time I click this button, we get a new child added to our waypoint group, and each
Let's add a waypoint. Oh wow, that's kind of cool. Okay, let's do pedestrian. I think he's gonna cover what this is gonna look like after, right? But that works. right? And then if I come into here, we have the width. Yeah. Oh, neat. You move this around. There's a waypoint.
Each child has a waypoint component attached. So this is a good start. We've got a tool that will easily allow us to spawn new waypoints.
Wait. So if I add a new waypoint, oh, look at that previous waypoint. And then if we come into here, next waypoint. Ah, that does work. Let's review the code real quick, though. Okay, so this creates a game object. Right? So here we're creating a new game object. The components to attach an array of types. Okay, so if I added okay, so this is an array, right? Okay, yeah. Huh, neat. Interesting. So if I wanted to add something else to them, I could just by adding the type of. Neat. Then if we do, let's see, waypoint, get component. Waypoint root child count is greater than 1. Waypoint root get child. Okay, so if waypoint child is greater than 1, so there's more than. So there's at least 2. We get the current. We get waypoint dot previous waypoint equals waypoint dot get child waypoint dot child count minus 2. Okay, I see what's going on here. Then dot game object. We get the component. Sorry. Waypoint dot transform dot position. There's something that I wanted to look into, but I'll worry about that later. So why are we doing a forward? Uh, this is putting it at the position of the last waypoint and then selecting it. Okay. Okay, so if I go to here and we add another waypoint. Oh, I see what's going on there. That makes sense. Then we can do this, right? Okay. That works. That works.
The next thing we need is some easy way of seeing how each of our waypoints are connected. Something ideally that will help us tell which waypoint is attached to which, and the relationship between them. It would also be good if we could easily just select the waypoint here in our scene view, rather than having to find a specific waypoint in the hierarchy. So let's create an editor script that uses some gizmos to help us achieve this. In our editor folder, let's create a new script called waypoint editor.
Do, do, do. Waypoint editor.
At the top here, we'll create an initialize onload attribute. Then let's add a new
Does this need to be that? And then this might not be a mono behavior.
static method called onDrawScene gizmo, which will take in a waypoint and a gizmo type as
Wait, what? Interesting.
parameters. We'll then add the draw gizmo attribute and we'll add gizmo type.nonSelected, gizmo type selected, and gizmo type pickable. This way, we're telling Unity to draw the gizmo.
There you go. Draw gizmo. Non-selected. Selected and pickable.
Regardless of whether or not the game object is selected. And by declaring this as pickable, we're also telling Unity to make the gizmo selectable. At the start here, let's set the color of our gizmo, depending on if the game object is selected or not. So if it is selected, it'll be a solid yellow color.
If gizmo type and is selected is not equal to 0, gizmo color is yellow. Else, gizmo color is yellow times 0.5f.
And if it's deselected, it'll be slightly transparent. Then we'll draw a sphere in the
Interesting. Draw sphere. Waypoint position.
center point of our transform. Next, we want to draw a line.
Would this just work? No, it does not.
The width of our current waypoint's walkable area.
This will have to be rigged up somehow, and we're going to get to that apparently. Gizmos color white. Gizmos dot draw line. Waypoint dot transform.
Yeah. Of our current waypoint's walkable area.
Damn it. Come on. uh, there we go. Okay, so the draw line position plus waypoint dot transform dot right times waypoint waypoint dot width divided by 2f. I forgot to put on streamer mode. Then waypoint dot transform dot position minus waypoint dot transform dot right times waypoint dot width divided by 2f. And we're going to do this and this and then this. There we go. But so his is working and mine is not. He's definitely skipped over something here.
Waypoints. The next thing we need is some easy way of seeing how each of our waypoints are connected. A gizmo, depending on if the game object is selected or not. Attach the which, and the relationship between them. We'll see in gizmo, which will take in a waypoint and a gizmo type. We should be able to see that our waypoints are now visualized in the scene view. And now...
So, okay, so he's got this, but this doesn't happen without some level of rigging. And I don't know if he covers that.
which will take in a waypoint and a gizmo type as parameters. We'll then add the draw gizmo attribute and we'll add gizmo type.nonSelected, gizmo type selected, and gizmo type pickable. This way, we're telling Unity to draw the gizmo regardless of whether or not the game object is selected. And by declaring this as pickable, we're also telling Unity to make the gizmo selectable. At the start here, let's set the color of our gizmo depending on if the game object is selected or not. So if it is selected, it'll be a solid yellow color, and if it's deselected, it'll be slightly transparent. Then we'll draw a sphere in the center point of our transform.
See, this is where the confusion comes in.
Next, we want to draw a line the width of our current...
So he... Right, like... It doesn't just... It's not a thing. Is it? I'm not crazy, right? Yeah, no. It's not drawing them. Like, at all. Where's the nav mesh? No, it totally does not draw these. So where does he rig this?
In our editor folder, let's create a new script called Waypoint Editor. At the top here, we'll create an initialize onload attribute. Then let's add a new static method called onDrawSceneGizmo, which will take in a waypoint. Let's set the color of our gizmo, depending on if the game object is. And now let's draw a line from our current waypoint to both the previous waypoint and the next waypoint.
I would... Why... How does he get his to work?
Next, we want to draw a line the width of our current waypoint's walkable area. And now let's draw a line.
Is this... I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, I didn't know about that either. That is really cool, but like but how does this like it doesn't work. Uh uh this is around 6:40. Okay. Nobody's covering the fact that this doesn't actually work. Like nothing's calling the draw of any kind here. I almost want to say if I keep going, does he actually cover it?
In the scene view.
Because this
Both the
doesn't
previous
work.
waypoint and the next waypoint. Which will take in a waypoint and a gizmo type as parameter script that uses some gizmos to help us achieve this. Something ideally that will help us tell which waypoint is attached to which, and the relationship between. Add the draw gizmo attribute, and we'll add gizmo type. Start here. Let's set the color of our the width of our current waypoint's walkable area. Regardless of whether or not the game object is selected, and by declaring this as pickable, we'll then add the draw gizmo attribute and at the top here, we'll create an initialize onload attribute. Then let's add a new static method called onDrawSceneGizmo, which
Is it possible that this has changed?
will take in a waypoint and a gizmo type as parameters. We'll then add the draw gizmo attribute and we'll add gizmo type.nonSelected, gizmo type selected, and gizmo type pickable. This way, we're telling Unity to draw the gizmo regardless of whether or not the game object is selected. And
This doesn't work. This is a little bit infuriating. This is in the editor, like he suggested, but it doesn't work. Because this is never actually running. What was it? It was debug.log. Yeah. So we'll never actually execute this line of code. This line of code will never execute. It does execute. Then why isn't it drawing? Wait, is it drawing? It did draw. Wait. Oh, dope. Okay, never mind. It is drawing. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, I see it now. I'm not blind anymore. I was like, why is this not working?
We'll draw a sphere in the and now let's draw a line waypoint to both the previous waypoint and the next waypoint.
Okay, there we go. All right. Uh, do, do, do. Then we do gizmos dot draw line. I want to disable that so bad right now. Dot transform dot position plus offset 2. Plus offset. Oh, today's the new Fab Day? Give me a moment. I thought they just came out. Like just came out. No, I guess they didn't. I don't know what this one is. Whatever, we're adding to cart. Remember, everybody, Chrono is right. Go get your Fab stuff. Get free. Characters actually look kind of good. Oh, it has full mouth uh morph targets and everything. Cool. This one's kind of neat. Or if you're building a Western game, just be studios. Wait, is this a different, or is this just more? Why is there two of them? Oh, this one's with lumen lighting. This one's with non-lumen lighting. Oh, this one's Unity. This one's Unreal. That's what it is. Interesting. Do. Okay, so we're gonna do the draw here, and it's waypoint dot transfer position plus offset. Waypoint position offset 2. If waypoint dot next waypoint is not equal to null. I'm actually debating right now getting rid of the fucking Copilot. It's kind of getting annoying. It's auto completing, but it's auto completing like absolutely the wrong stuff and making things more error prone. Times minus waypoint dot width 2. Vector 3 offset 2 equals waypoint dot next waypoint, I think. Yeah. Next waypoint dot transform dot right times minus waypoint dot next waypoint dot width divided by 2f. Oops.
Now, if we take a look.
Gizmos dot draw line waypoint dot transform dot position plus offset waypoint dot next waypoint dot transform dot position plus offset 2. Why is it right. From and to. Okay. All right. Have a good doctor's appointment. Hopefully it's all good news.
Now, if we take a look back in Unity.
Okay, so if we go back into Unity, we should see the colors. Yay! Look at that. I would like to not see the like I want gizmos, but I don't want the nav mesh right now. What is it? It's nav. Uh, um, wait. What? What is it? It's nav mesh surface. Uh, Unity hide nav mesh surface gizmo. Hide the nav mesh surface gizmo in Unity. You can either disable the gizmo globally or disable it for the specific nav mesh surface component globally. And then toggle gizmos on and off using the gizmo menu in the select view. Alternatively, you can Can I just do that? No. Right click the scene view tab overlay menu. Wait, what? Okay, right click the scene view tab. Overlay menu. There it is. Oh, thank God. Fucking amazing. Beautiful. Okay, there we go. Now we can see shit. Now we can see shit. Interesting. There we go. But that creates a whole new issue right there, right? There we go. What if I do the width? Ah, there we go. Beautiful. Isn't it amazing? There is something that I want to do, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this, right? So this is gonna be important. Edit. I don't remember which one's which. I feel like it's this one. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a drink. This is the right one. I had a feeling it was this one. We're gonna bring that in. We're gonna bring in the Nimiko Japanese city, and we're gonna drive around that. We're gonna tune around that city specifically for now. And the pedestrians, I'm gonna have the walking there, so we can build the pedestrian system out in that map specifically. That's gonna be my test map. It's not overly complicated. Everything's very square. It's not very Japanese, but it's very square, which is half the battle. Okay. So now we can make a waypoint system. Now we can show the waypoint system inside of the map. Okay, so first things first, I want to create a empty, and we'll call this environment. So the idea is to have the walking, right? We might not end up using the their entire like we might not end up using the we may or may not make our own nav system, but I don't know. We'll see. I probably should have just done right click and parent it and then deleted the environment one. That probably would have been the right thing to do. No, it worked. Sweet. Okay, then we go to we're going to save first. There we go. And then we're going to go up to, I think it was under Truck-kun, prefabs. Yeah, this one. And then we bring this in here. Let's move this up here like so. Save. And then we're going to be able to drive. We should be able to drive around now in this little city here. Do 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 do. My truck is going to be very white. Super, super white. I think that's like the directional light or the volumes, or maybe it's the reflection probes. I'm not sure, but we'll have to figure that out eventually. Hmm. I don't care about the audio listener. Is it because the main camera is not tagged correctly? No, it is. So what's the issue here? Okay, so what's causing this not to function correctly? Is it the audio listener not being attached to the main camera or something like that? It might be that. We're gonna be getting rid of it anyways, right? So because we're gonna switch it over to Fmod because we want Fmod for everything. Interesting. Why is this not working? Huh. So it is working, but it's also not. Like the camera's not working correctly. Hmm. Let's take a look here. Uh Rigid body. Where is the camera? The camera was around here somewhere, right? Oh, it's right here, right? Hmm. I made a backup. Go ahead. I thought that was a lie. It's just I don't care if it breaks other things. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Okay, let's see if this works now. I don't think I want the, or maybe I do. Wait, what? Oof. There's the body mesh here, there, and then, oh, it's because it's lit. Let's just give it a box truck here, and take that. No, we're just gonna make a quick material. Create a material. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. All right, and then we hit play, and we should have some kind of camera, maybe. As long as it's following, that's all I really care about right this moment, right? Mhm. It does not work yet. Okay,
Cinemation 3 has been out for quite some time, and recently Unity 6 Preview has been released, so Cinemation 3 will start to become the default, and it's about time to update my Cinemation tutorial series. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, this is Omar Bafaki, and welcome to my game development and filmmaking channel.
Mhm. Okay, so let's go back to here. Right, guess we'll go to the prefabs. Yeah, here. And we're gonna go here, and we're gonna do. This has overrides. Apply selected. Revert all. We're gonna open up this prefab here, and we're gonna take the we're gonna take this camera here, and we're just gonna delete it. I think. Set up errors. My camera should not be a child of us. Okay, this one might actually be it.
Cinemation 3 has been out for quite the Cinemation series and explained it and its different camera types and components. The series was liked by a lot of you, so thanks a lot for the support. Now it's time to update the playlist with Cinemation 3. To avoid any sort of repetition, in the old series, the cameras were used for a playable character, but now we will use Cinemachine in the timeline mostly. Before we start, according to Unity, the Cinemachine 3 upgrade is not so much a feature update as it's a change of format. So the previous Cinemachine playlist is still relevant, and this series should build on top of it. If you've never used Cinemachine before, it's a Unity camera tool that makes you achieve a lot of camera behaviors, from interactive cameras orbiting around the player to dolly cameras that follow the player. And all of that happens with 0 lines of code. And it's provided by Unity officially, which means it's free. To install it, go Window, Package Manager, make sure you're in the Unity registry, have become Rotation Composer and Position Composer. So these are the old and new names. And a quick overview of what's new and high level, improved integration with Unity standards, a cleaner and simpler.
Today we're going to dive into Cinemachine 3.1 and take a look at what's changed in the new version. We're going to talk about the new events architecture and the new spline implementation and walk through some examples. We're also going to talk about the API changes and consider whether or not it's worth upgrading your existing project to the new version. Finally, we'll take a look at some of the interesting samples that are included in the new version and some of the interesting bits of code you can find there. Let's get into it. Installing Cinemachine is super easy. In the Package Manager tab under the Unit Simple camera that has a transform attached to it. If I go over to the Scene tab, I'm going to quickly create a new virtual camera. In Cinemachine 3, what used to be called a Cinemachine virtual camera is now just called a Cinemachine camera. The nice thing about the Cinemachine camera is it's been stripped down.
Okie dokie. So we're going to take this and we're going to delete this. We're going to come here and we're going to do create Cinemachine camera.
To just the bare bones, which essentially means the camera is just a lens that has a transform attached to it. If I expand the lens section here, you'll see all the usual suspects. It's very similar to Cinemachine 2, but what's missing here is sections for body, aim, noise. You'll see under procedural components, they're all marked as none, and that's because in Cinemachine 3, you add those things as additional components onto the game object. Notice also there's conveniently a checkbox here for save during play. This is exactly the same setting that you'll find in the Preferences tab. Now, Cinemachine is doing this with a special attribute called save during play, and you can actually use this on any game object. This attribute is meant to be used at the class level, but there's another attribute you can use to exclude specific fields. Let's just see how you would use that. If I come back to my example code here, I'll add the attribute at the class level, then let's have a public float for speed that we want to change at runtime. Let's have the no save during play for a max speed, and then just for interest's sake, let's add a public vector as well. In order for this to work, you have to turn on that global save during play setting. And if you don't have any cameras in your scene like I have right now, then you can go into the preferences and toggle it there. So I'm just going to hit play here and I'll tweak all three of those values. Remember that max speed should not be saved when we come out of play mode. Now I'll just set the track dots at 1, 2, 3. Let's hit stop. And right away, we're going to get presented with a little dialogue that asks, do you really want to save these changes? Do you want to keep them? Click keep and watch what happens. You kept all the values except the max speed one. The creators of this script have written in the documentation and in the code comments that you shouldn't really rely on this because it's not very well tested. However, it's certainly worth going to have a look at, especially if you're interested in writing your own editor tools, because there are some very interesting things in here, including this static class object tree utility. Okay, back to camera stuff. The easiest way to understand the component makeup of the new Cinemachine 3 setup is to just add a simple camera. So let's add a follow camera, and you'll notice that it has the basic Cinemachine camera component, but then it added 2 more components.
Wait, what?
New Cinemachine 3 setup is to just add a simple camera. So let's add a follow camera.
Ah, okay. Let's do this again, and then we'll do this, and we'll do follow camera. Beautiful.
And you'll notice that it has the basic Cinemachine camera component, but then it added 2 more components. You can see under the procedural components section that now 2 of those sections are filled out because we've added a follow component for the positional control, and we've added the rotation composer as our rotation control component. Now, when you add any of these camera types using the menu, what you're really adding is a template that adds the basic camera and then the components that it needs to make that work. The Cinemachine follow component here has extracted a lot of the functionality that used to exist in the Cinemachine virtual camera.
Oh, right. And then save during play.
But now it's in its own component, so you can adjust any of those values here, and this applies to a lot of the other functionality that used to exist in the Cinemachine virtual camera. Now, these are just separate components on this game object, and you can get access to any of them using the get component.
Okay. Why is this so laggy? I think I need to restart. Let's see if this worked. I feel like it will. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. There we go. Yeah, it did work. Sweet. Wait, what? What was that? Huh? What am I hitting? Yeah, what did I just hit? There's definitely something. I'm definitely hitting something. But what is it hitting? Do you think it's these? Like, I suppose it could be. I'm not sure what I'm hitting, though. The FPS is fucking terrible. Huh. Can I even drive around this map? I might not be able to drive around this map. It might be like entirely broken. Wait, why is the follow camera not following correctly? how do I position this in the Y? I want to rotate this. Oh, sakes. Is it just specifically that area? I think it just might be that area. A bunch of this needs to be fixed. What the fuck did I hit? I am definitely on the struggle bus here to figure out what is going on. Like what am I running into? What did I hit? Right? What the fuck did I hit? This map is a piece of shit. I imagine I think this has to do with like I'm not sure what it is. But anyway I swing it, it's just it's weird, right? Huh. I'm gonna have to work something out there because the the it, so the mesh collider is not changing. I was assuming that maybe it was a mesh collider issue, but it's not changing. So why is it like that? Is it like a seam that I'm not? Hmm. What if we go back to our truck? Hmm. Actually, yeah, I guess because like we're probably like right on the ground here. Maybe if we take the body collider and just move it a little bit up, right? Like this. No. We go like this maybe. That might fix the problem. Because it could just be that like it's the small little bumps, and because it was so low to the ground, it was causing the problem. He's really bad at large maps. Let's see if this fixes the problem. Yeah, it does. Sweet. Oh yeah, totally. The wheels are like halfway through the ground and stuff like that. There we go. Yeah, so that was definitely the problem. We were too close to the ground. So we were hitting on the little bumps that are the little white parts. We were hitting on that. That was the problem. To be fair, those shouldn't have collisions, but they do for different reasons. Um, this world here needs to have a little bit of performance optimization put into it, but we'll worry about that later. Um, that was quite the flip. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Look at it. It goes. It goes. It makes the goes. So yeah, this needs to be performance optimized. Like crazy performance optimizations need to happen here. This the CPU on this. There's way too many batches here. Did I like I think I somehow went through something. Anyways, yeah, we fixed that problem. There is going to have to be some level of optimization because we're at way too many draw call batches. You don't But I hit stop. God, the FPS here is. Wait, is it still not stopping? Why are you not stopping? Cool, 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 cool. Can we please get a stop? Uh, that was annoying. Okay, so first things first, let's go to these materials. Oh, no wonder. What? Well, these are all, I think these are all like GPU enabled. Yeah, instanced. Okay. Um, hmm. Is it that none of these are flagged as static? No, these are all static. I guess because they're all pieces, maybe? I'll figure out. I think these all need to be like effectively recolored. Because like I think this, yeah, this is like multiple different, like the LODs give us different material. Yeah, holy shit, there's too many materials. No wonder. So I'll have to bake all of these. So effectively all of these I'm gonna have to like go in and bake. Combine these down into a single material. These signs are fine, but like um Where's that being used? All right. Well, at any rate, we'll figure it out. How many materials is this one? Two sets. Hmm. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like one for the outside and one for the glass, right? Because transparency. Still annoying though. Yeah. There are entirely too many things here. I don't think this world here is going to work, unfortunately. It's a little maybe too big for actual testing here. It's not performant enough is what it comes down to. That is. Wait, that's why. Wait, what? There we go. Mm-hmm. At a waypoint. There we go. Do 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 do. Where is my vehicle? Mhm. Mhm. Is it sure. Okay. I do want like uh, all right, let's hit play and try this out. Why is this rotating? Maybe 0.5. That's a bit better. Yeah, this is what we want. Why is my CPU? The CPU is really fucking crazy right now. Hmm. So there's definitely an issue. I wonder if it's the um I think it's the smoke. Yeah, it's the particles. Yeah, it's definitely the particles. Wait, no. It was something else. Hmm. All right, here we go. Yeah. No, I'm not sure what it was. It must have been a glitch. It could be the skid marks. Wait, what? Oh, it was something else. I figured it out. Beautiful. Do, 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 do. I do need to change some stuff here because this is kind of terrible. Hmm. Can't remember. Okay, yeah, this was not. Yeah. I'm live. Congratulations. Do do. Ground. This one? Yeah, that one. Or maybe that for the walls might be better. There we go. There's a little bit more depth to this now. There we go. Beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so we got that. Let's get back to actual work now. There we go. Let's say 5. Yeah, 5's a little better.
We should be able to see that our waypoints are now visualized in the scene view. So this is pretty good. However, if I want to add a waypoint between 2 existing waypoints, it's a little awkward. So let's fix that by adding a couple of contextual buttons to our editor. Back in our Waypoint Manager window, let's get a reference to the currently selected game object
Draw button. Where's my draw button? That's not what I asked for. If selected, dot selection dot active game object. It's not equal to null, and selection dot active game object.
and check if there's a waypoint attached. If there is, let's create 3 new buttons and methods. Our first button we'll label as create
Create waypoint before.
waypoint before, our second create waypoint after, and our third remove waypoint.
After. Move waypoint.
Then let's make a method for all three of these. And assign them to our buttons. In our create waypoint method, let's create a new waypoint and get a
Game object. Waypoint object.
reference to it.
Waypoint object.
Then let's also get a reference to our selected waypoint.
Waypoint. New waypoint.
And we'll position our new waypoint with our selected waypoint.
Waypoint. Selected waypoint. Waypoint object.
We'll check
Waypoint object dot transform dot forward.
if the selected waypoint has a previous waypoint assigned, and if it does, we'll set that as our new waypoint's previous waypoint instead, and set our new waypoint as the next waypoint.
That makes entirely perfect sense. If selected waypoint dot previous waypoint is not equal to null, new waypoint previous equals selected previous, and then yeah, there we go. New waypoint dot next waypoint equals selected waypoint.
Finally, let's set the sibling index of our new waypoint so it's in position nicely in the hierarchy.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. New waypoint dot transform dot set sibling index to selection dot div game object equals new waypoint.
Our create waypoint after method is pretty much the same, except that we're swapping out the next waypoint reference instead. So let's just go ahead and do that.
And then the previous waypoint equals new waypoint. And then new waypoint next waypoint equals selected next waypoint. Wait. Selected waypoint dot next waypoint e dot previous waypoint. Right, this is supposed to be selected.
Finally, in our remove waypoint method, we'll swap out the reference on our currently selected waypoint to the previous and next waypoint, before destroying the selected game object. So now...
Oh, cool. Cool. YouTube, fucking cool. Thank you. Waypoint selected waypoint equals selection dot active game object dot get component. If selected waypoint dot next waypoint is not equal to null, selected waypoint dot next waypoint dot do That's not correct. My previous. Wait, which one did I do? There's waypoint 0. I can't remember which one I used for this. So that's a little bit of a problem, you know? Okay, let's do this again. Create before. Okay, so create before, yeah. Create before is broken. The next waypoint on that is supposed to be 4, I believe. And it's giving me 5. No, it's giving me 2. Yeah, and it's supposed to be 4. That fixes that. Yeah, 5. There we go. Okay. So, and this is create before.
So now we've got a pretty... We'll check if the selected waypoint has a previous waypoint assigned. Set our new waypoint as the next waypoint.
Do. Oh, it's supposed to be this. Yeah, I see it. There we go. Mm, Okay, so there's a problem. There's two problems. Beautiful. And then we need the previous.
Finally,
Uh, yeah, this here. New this. There we go. Beautiful. Um, all right, now we want to check whether or not remove works. Remove does not. Which one's broken? This one here is saying that the previous is 9. Which one's 9? There. And my next is 9, which is not correct. Hmm. The next should be 8. There. All right, now we're going to delete this 8 here. Remove component. Beautiful. That works. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this was a him thing or a me thing. To be fair at this point, though, I don't really care. Because we got it working. Ah.
finally, in our remove waypoint, so now we've got a pretty flexible tool for editing our waypoints and a nice visualization for them. So with that, let's go through and create our little waypoint loop for Eric to walk around. We'll assign our last waypoint back to the first one to close the loop here. And now we just need to write some logic to move between the waypoints. So let's create a new script called Waypoint Navigator. In here, we'll get a reference to our character movement controller and a current waypoint. On awake, we'll assign the controller. And then we'll set the destination of our controller to the position of our currently assigned waypoint.
So this is kind of like not quite what we're looking for, but also kind of what we're looking for. So the idea here would be to grab all the waypoints, and we want to spawn a certain number of characters between the waypoints randomly, right? I wonder how I want to do this. Give me a second. To be honest, I'm thinking I'm just gonna take a break. Yeah, I think I'll take a break, call it a day. I've got some stuff I still got to get done, so I will chat with y'all tomorrow. No, wait, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll chat with you guys all later. I've got to go take care of some stuff that I can't do on stream. I will catch you all on Thursday. All right, ta-ta for now.